Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Morgan Financial Podcast. Today, we're talking all about Viera, Florida, one of the most talked about communities on the Space Coast. So, if you're thinking about moving to Viera or just trying to understand what makes this area so popular, we're breaking down what people love, what surprises buyers, and what you should know before making the move to the area. Let's dive in. Today, I'm sitting here with Rachel Langley and Nichole Barna from Blue Marlin Real Estate. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Super excited to have you guys here today. You guys are a wealth of knowledge, specifically for people that are relocating to the area. And today we're talking about what nobody tells you about moving to Viera. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. What is something that people say when they're moving to Viera that usually attracts them to the area first?
I would say that it's polished and new.
Yeah. Well, I think for a lot of people, because I've never seen a golf cart community before. So unless you're from Florida or I don't know other places that have golf.
True.
Maybe like Arizona or Las Vegas has golf cart communities, but it's very unique to be able to just golf cart around to the high school. Your kids, when they turn 15 and get their learner's permit, they can just drive themselves with a golf cart. So I think that's definitely the coolest unique factor to it.
Yeah.
Good point.
And although that is just the west side of Viera, that it's not all of Viera is the caveat, but yes.
Yeah, it's funny. People that are moving to the area or moving to Viera specifically, it's like Sunshine State. If they're coming from New England or they're coming from like a Midwest town, they want to be outside as much as possible. So golf cart community is definitely a check for that, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it's really
Awesome.
cool.
So how would you describe the overall feel of Viera compared to other areas, specifically in Brevard County?
Well, it's a master plan community, so we don't really have anything in Melbourne except maybe Century that is that big, that is master planned. Like we'll have Sunrise Estates, which I believe is technically a master plan community because they have anyways, that's in West Melbourne. But like there's some master plan communities coming into Palm Bay, but nothing like, well, maybe in the future, but nothing like Viera is. So it's very unique in the fact that it's like this large land that is all master planned. And it's actually not all brand new. So you have the west side of Viera, which is brand new, which is really appealing. But then you also have Viera East, which is actually the early 2000s, I believe 90s too. That's a little bit older, but mature trees and still very beautiful because it is also master planned.
Yeah. I mean, when I grew up in Brevard County in Merritt Island, Viera really didn't even exist.
Yeah.
So the avenues didn't come until I was in high school. The high school didn't even exist until I was in college. So I think relative to the rest of Brevard County, it feels very new. It feels, like I said before, polished, and you get that golf cart. I mean, even coming from Merritt Island, not a lot of people are riding around in their golf carts. So that's even unique to Viera in Brevard County.
Yeah.
I love that. OG Florida girl as well. So it is funny. I remember going off to college and it was literally just sod and cows and celery farms out there. And then to come back on breaks and be like, oh, there's a shopping plaza. Oh, there's a new community.
Yeah. I was like, what is Viera?
Came out of nowhere for people that grew up here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what does a typical weekend in Viera look like for someone who lives there?
I mean, I think if you enjoy shopping, that's where you're going to go in Brevard County. It's very family friendly. So I feel like most of the neighborhoods have their own park, community pools accessible. So just very family oriented.
Yeah. I mean, the beach is only anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes away, depending where you are in Viera, too. So, I mean, you're super close to the beach. So, if it's a nice day, I'd say like beach day, maybe surfing. Surfing's a big part of the culture here on the Space Coast in general. And then I would say rainy day, definitely shopping for sure. But yeah, there's always events going on too for whether it's kid friendly, dog friendly, adult, young adult friendly. 55
Movie
plus
night.
Yeah.
It kind of is a catch-all. It's got everything.
It really is. Yeah, it's for anyone.
Yeah.
Well, we've also got the amphitheater that's coming in now too. So that
I'm
will
so
change the
excited.
dynamic as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be so cool.
Yeah, and the food truck park, which I think is right next to it.
Yeah.
If I believe it is right. They're right next to each
Yeah,
other.
they're going to be in the same area. And I think one of the things that Viera doesn't necessarily have is the nightlife, and maybe that could bring some of that here.
Yeah, including Top Golf too, which is pulling permits right now. They did get approvals for something with a like city or not city, but county, whatever. And I believe I did read a recent article in VR Voice that they did start pulling permits, and I believe they're open till like 2 a.m. So it'll be interesting because that like I feel like nothing's open till 2 a.m. in Viera.
Yeah.
So
Not for
that'll be
golf,
fun.
not for golf
Yeah,
enthusiasts.
yeah.
That's for sure.
But it's
So-
cool. Have you ever been to Top Golf?
I
It's like-
have been to Top
Yeah.
Golf, and it is so fun. Food, beverage, you can bring the family. You don't have to worry about if you're a terrible golfer. You don't have to be a
True.
scratch golfer.
I love those videos of people that like they golf and then they like fall into the net. Or, like, have you ever seen that? Like it's crazy. I don't know. I just watched one recently.
If you need a harness while golfing, let them
There
know
is-
ahead of time.
There is a net.
hilarious.
That's awesome. With that being said, what certain types of people or buyers or families would you expect tend to lean towards Viera?
Well, yeah, I think it's for everyone. I think especially if you're into new construction, not everyone is here for a mid-century home. So we have a lot of buyers that are looking for something that's brand new, and you have that in Viera west of 95. And then if you want more established, you have that east of 95. And I live pretty close to the east side of Viera, and we're getting a lot of cool stuff now too. I mean, coffee shops, and I just took my dog to the ER. It was actually really nice. And not to be like sad, she's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Whole Foods and things like that. So
There's also a good area for first-time home buyers too. Have you guys seen that Catamaran Cove? That's from the 300s, I believe.
Yeah, that's not Viera though.
it's technically Rockledge
That's
still,
Rockledge.
but right on.
You learn something new every day.
But they are coming out with Atlan Cove.
Awesome.
Which is Viera. It's behind Costco, and I'm starting in the low 400s. So I think that'll be like the lowest we've seen for a single family home in a long time. But I did want to say too, because just this week I have coming in to look in Viera, I have a family with young children. I have 55 plus buyers. I have a friend of mine that lived in Century her whole life, and she's looking to live in Viera. So like the point is that it's for anyone, all ages. They have apartments for 18-year-old, for just out of a house, so.
And that 55 plus community is amazing.
Del Webb.
Yes, exactly.
I know, I wanna
it's
live
like a
there.
resort.
I
Yeah.
think they just opened their clubhouse too, didn't they?
Did. I want to go there and do a video, by the way. I want to tell you that.
Yeah, but the apartments are amazing. They kind of remind me of when I was in college, and the more like luxury apartments for younger buyers or renters or whatever. So
Yeah, I think it's fun. Wait, you're talking about Del Webb or the...
no, just the apartments across from the avenues.
Oh, yeah, the apartments. Sorry.
Luna.
We switched.
Yeah,
I was
sorry.
like 55 plus, but yeah, Luna's really nice. We've been inside a lot of those. And they also, a lot of them too, if you're watching this and thinking about new construction, there are a few that come furnished and also that are 7 to 8 months leases, which are nice because that lines up with building with fewer builders too. So
Wonderful.
there's a good variety for that too.
So for people that are moving into the area, what would you tell them about specifically HOAs or community fees for a master plan community before they buy there?
Okay, so Viera is in unincorporated Brevard. So you start off with lower taxes. So when you see all of those fees, like HOA fees, actually most of Viera, except there is a part in Viera East that has a CDD. Most of Viera does not have a CDD, even though it's on the tax bill as a CDD. It's actually called, I believe, a special tax district. I forget. It's on my phone.
Essentially, there are different fees, and I think that it's important to know that these fees are paying for something. Just like if you were to be in a condo, you are paying for maintenance, whether it is the community, the amenities, the roads, whatever it may be. A lot of people love Viera because it looks so nice. There's a reason why it does. There's upkeep and things like that cost money. So just go into it knowing what you are getting into.
But with that said, if you actually do the math, like say you're comparing living in a city of Melbourne or Palm Bay, and you look at the tax for living in city versus the unincorporated Brevard tax plus the HOA fees and the special district tax that looks like a CDD on your tax bill, it actually evens out to the same.
Gotcha.
Or maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but it's actually just like a city tax. So
Yeah. So I think
It's
in
actually
a
not that
nutshell,
expensive. It's really not that expensive when you look at it like that. Even like the Catamaran Cove, Rockledge has higher taxes than Viera does.
yeah.
So when Catamaran Cove's like, we don't have any CDDs, which Viera doesn't have CDDs, they have something else. Actually, if you compare them, they're like the same.
Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, it is look at the overall cost and what you're getting and decide if that's right for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and some people reach out to us and they're like, we want to live in Viera, but we want to have our boat in a yard and RV, and it's just not. They do have storage actually, very west, like in Viera, for that stuff, but you can't have that like parked in front of your yard and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Some
not
people
avoided
love
HOA.
that and some people hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
With that being said, what are some common mistakes that people make when moving to Viera that they didn't know about prior to? The boat being in the yard would probably be a big one.
yeah, definitely know what's
No boats.
allowed.
That's a tough one because I feel like I'm like super like I tell everyone everything.
Well, I
I'm
have
like
a lot of
what do you think?
I have a lot of people who look at Brevard and they're like, wow, it's so close to the beach. But just depending on what you consider close to the beach, I still consider Viera very close to the beach.
Yeah.
But growing up in Merritt Island, I was even closer. And if you're from the beach somewhere else, you might be thinking that's, walking or biking distance, whatever. So I would just say, just know if you're coming to Brevard County for proximity to the beach, know exactly what that means and what traffic does to that timeline too of travel. So.
Yeah, perception's reality for sure.
Exactly.
I think the only thing I've had people kind of regret after buying is the commute. If they're like down in West Melbourne or Palm Bay, like L3 Harris, or like they're like, oh, I kind of wish I moved to West Melbourne instead for an easier commute. But other than that, I feel like so far everyone loves it.
So takeaway, know your drive time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Why does Viera tend to be such a competitive area for buyers?
Well, I think you said it. There's the west side of Viera is all new, which people love, especially in Florida with the insurance rates. They're all, built for the code for hurricanes. And so people really love that.
There's a lot of other new development, but Viera is very centrally located too. So whether your job is at the Cape or, like you said, further south in Melbourne, it's still a nice location right center of Brevard.
Yeah.
I remember briefly in a lifetime ago working over in Orlando because out of college, I'm going to age myself a little bit, out of college, that was the only place to get those higher level jobs. The Space Center and all that stuff hadn't come back, made that booming comeback. So Orlando was the place to work, but I did not like the busyness of Orlando. So I didn't mind the 35, 40-minute drive while living in Viera to still work over in Orlando. So I think that's also something to keep in account. If your job is a little bit further south or a little bit further west, if you still want that lifestyle of small town, everybody knows everybody, but still having the elevated shopping and dining experience, and you don't mind a little bit of a drive, it's worth it.
Yeah. Going back off of job commutes, I have had a few pilots that are flying out of the Orlando airport, love Viera. It's a pretty easy drive. And then I do also have clients that just have to be in the middle of like hospitals that are all throughout the East Coast. So Viera is central. It's like right in the middle of the state, right? So whether they're going to Jacksonville one day or Miami one day, they like that it's in the middle. So
We got airports now. We're on the map.
Yeah.
I know.
Awesome. Well, in conclusion, what's one thing that you wish every buyer knew before moving to Viera, Florida?
I guess I would say that while we have said it's new, and that's relative to me being from the area and seeing it pop up in my time, right? But there are some really beautiful established areas on the east side that have the beautiful trees and a little bit older homes. I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting.
90s.
It's interesting to say Viera and everyone thinks new because my sister built in Viera 20 years ago.
Right.
And she's still centrally located in Viera. So you can get that brand new construction, but you can also have families that have been there for 20 years and their kids have grown up there.
Yeah.
So
Also, don't knock the older homes, especially if you have dogs. This is just random, but for me, we're planning on moving to Viera the next few years to start a family because it's a great spot for that. But but we have 2 crazy dogs. And I guess this is important to know. The newer neighborhoods in Viera all have restrictions on, like, you can have a fence, but they have to be the see-through metal fences, which just would not work for my dogs. You can cover it up with landscaping, but my dogs will be barking at every single neighbor and trying to jump and go in the water. So in the older established neighborhoods, like over in Salerno or Sonoma, they do allow the 6-foot privacy fences, which I love, which is why I'll probably buy one of those.
So if you know your pet's temperament,
Yes, if you've got a jumper,
call Rachel.
If you have a jumper.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. You're a wealth of knowledge. We greatly appreciate it. And if you know somebody that's moving to Viera, Florida, share this podcast with them, and we'll see you next time.